Ladies and gentlemen of the Heavy Metal History Podcast, welcome to another episode. My guest on this episode is Twitch. He is, I guess, at one point was we'll get into this. Twitch is the brains behind Hubris Cannon. Twitch, welcome to the podcast, man.
Uh, Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so I was getting a little ahead of myself there because, from what I understand, at one point you did and now you have band members. I don't want to get myself here, but is that still the case? Are you like the brains of everything in the band?
Uh, there are a few projects that I have that are just it's me in a bedroom, and then for live performances, I have dragged some of my more talented friends to kind of perform alongside me, so I don't have to do much other than yell and run around.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I can imagine.
as far as like the writing stuff goes, I'm not opposed to like input, but at the moment, it really is just it's still just me writing and doing all that stuff.
Sick. So, okay, man, the thing that with on this podcast to kind of get everything rolling here is I like your personal heavy metal history, like those bands and records that you remember hearing that kind of like developed your taste as you eventually like got into wanting to make music in the genre.
I kind of came up weird. Like I was like from a young age, like really kind of wanting to hear something like extreme,
Mhm.
and kept like hunting through it. And I remember seeing like ads for like Slayer albums in like old Spider-Man comics when I was like really young, and just thinking like, oh, this is going to be the most extreme thing possible. And then like when I was finally like able to start like finding music myself, it's like, okay, need to hear this. And then you hear Slayer and you go, for me, I was kind of just I was like let down. I was expecting something that's way more like extreme.
Yeah.
And from there I was like, okay, I need to find out what this next stop is. And then kind of found At the Gates pretty soon afterwards.
Mm.
And yeah, Slaughtered the Soul. And like, oh, this is kind of what I wanted. And then I was young-ish, and so like at the same time, I got the Slipknot self-titled album and Calculating Infinity on
Ooh,
like
hell
the
yeah.
like with it with like back to back. And yeah, that kind of helped set things up. And well, I don't like I don't think that that Slipknot ages as well as a lot of people want to convince themselves of. It was still like super important to me as a kid, and
Yeah.
Calculating Infinity is still just insane to this day. So
Yeah, it
those
still
are
boggles my mind every time I see that it came out in 1999 and I'm just like, what the fuck? There was really not a whole lot like this in 1999. I'm not saying there wasn't, but not a whole lot.
at like over time you kind of do that deep dive on like similar bands and kind of
Yeah.
things that have the again same vibe, and nothing I've heard, especially if like from that era really since like if Calculating Infinity came out tomorrow, it would still sound like as mind blowing as it did. Like not I mean like not like as paradigm shifting as when I was 11 and was like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, no, very much.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
have to agree, man. That was like kind of one of my gateway albums too, but like in a weird reverse order because I got like super into hardcore punk first and then actual hardcore. And then I was like, well, this stuff's cool, but I want shit that goes like faster and harder and like more chaotic. And that's when I found like Converge and Dillinger and
yeah.
all those kind of bands. And I was like, yep, that's what I'm looking for right there. And yeah.
Converge was kind of Converge is my kind of like gateway to hardcore because
Hmm.
it's like I heard Jane Doe and I was like, oh, this is very like I listened to a lot of like black metal when I was a kid, and it kind of had like that similar like insane like very specific production vibe to it. Whereas like, oh, this like the sounds of this take me to a different place. This is kind of cool. I wonder what else kind of sounds like this.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
funny
yeah,
too how you like once you get into stuff like that, like you are always looking for like the more heavier, brutal, faster thing that
yeah.
gets you like sucked in harder and harder from from where you initially started.
Oh yeah. The amount of time I spent like searching for grind records when I like in like free internet and just like every single place I could think of that would have like any kind of music selection. It's like, okay, I need to go in here. I need to find one of like anything that looks gross. And yeah, it was way too much time spent in the pre-internet days, but very much worth it.
Yeah, I mean back then it was all about like you were kind of saying like going and looking at the covers and seeing like maybe which ones were censored or had the parental
Yeah,
advisory stickers on it. And yeah, man, I will
the,
never forget the first time I saw a Carcass album cover, the Carcass like symphony stuff, and I was like, I don't even know if I could listen to this. It looked so gross. And eventually I would, but
yeah,
initially it's like it's too fucked up.
I love it. I like even like uh, Proud on the Yard was a big like. I remember seeing the ads for it, and I was just like, I don't know what this is, but I can't wait to hear it. And boy, howdy, was that that was another like huge like impactful record on me. Uh,
Yeah.
God damn, that lyrics on that record are so good,
Yeah,
just
I've
so
always
good.
even though the production is like for like a grind album during that time, I've always kind of wondered like what how that record would sound if it sounded like the way they've recorded their past few albums. I still think it would sound good, but it would also sound like completely fucking different in the same way.
Well, they did that remaster recently, and I was like, I wonder how
Yeah,
this is going to sound. And it's like, oh, this just sounds like a shitty death metal album. Like this doesn't like it's like Pig Destroyer were the like the most metal screamo band ever, and
yeah.
once they kind of fell more into the metal side, it kind of like it lost me as far as the like songs go. But it's just that like level playing like Robotic Empire like just again like goes back to like the glass shattery vibes of Jane Doe. Like that's like that super impactful stuff is kind of like that's what hits me. If that makes sense.
Uh, so I kind of went into weird, funny. I don't know if it's funny, but just like how I found out about your band. So probably this is kind of embarrassing for like the past 4 years, maybe. I've seen Ben Wheeler wear your shirt on his streams and all the stuff he does with Loading Ready Run. And every time I see it, I'm like, man, I need to check that band out. And I would always be like, I need to check that band out. I need to check that band out. And this is embarrassing because it's been 4 years. Um, and then probably like 2 weeks ago, he was wearing the shirt again on a stream, and I was like, fuck, I need to check that band out. And then I kid you not, the next day I was walking to work and my Spotify like new releases thing or new whatever thing came up, and your song, the City of Traders song off the upcoming record. I was like, motherfucker, why did I wait 4 years to like check this band out? And now here it is. It kind of just like worked out. It like finally got in my algorithm, and then that's yeah, I think I messaged you like a week later. I was like, okay, cool, they got a record coming out. I want to talk to them and get them on the podcast and everything because it's so I can't believe it like took that long for it to work its way in.
Yeah, I stole the name for Hubris Cannon from Wheeler.
Really?
It was a Highlander deck that was a just terrible, like just a disaster of a like mono brown mess, but like intentionally memey. But just I'm like that's so dumb and appropriate for like what at the time was I was again pandemic trying to make what again I'm not a big fan of hardcore.
Mhm.
Like I've kind of like in the several years since I've kind of have been more like open to it and enjoyed a lot more of it. But I'm like, okay, well, like, I'm gonna try to write a hardcore record. It's gonna be try to be dumb. Hubris Cannon kind of works. So
Yeah,
yeah, I like yeah. I even like asked him on stream. I'm like, hey, I'm going to steal this. Is that okay? He's like, oh yeah, go for it. So
that
yeah,
sounds like him.
yeah no, he's like for somebody with no like actual stake in music or anything. He's been unbelievably supportive in for Hubris Cannon. Like just so I can't thank him enough for that. Like seeing like an HC shirt on like the actual like arena like YouTube
Yeah.
one of the skits they did. I'm just like, this is for a band that is 10% meme, and again 90% dead serious, but 10% meme. It's like I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, it's funny too, because like I've heard a bunch of those other guys that are involved in Loading Ready Run like mention that they love metal too, and like drop crazy shit that I never would expect, like Omnium Gatherum, and I'm like, what the fuck? You like
So,
Omnium? Damn, you
that's
guys
a
are
name I
like
haven't heard in
really
forever.
into it. Yeah, yeah, and I was just
Yeah,
like, so I was like, like I don't really follow too many of those guys on like social media, and even if I
yeah,
do, I don't like pay super hard attention. Like I would look at Wheeler and metal would be like the last thing I would expect him to listen to at all.
yeah,
But that's metal, man. You never know. Like you can't really like typecast somebody just because they look a certain way and be like, that guy doesn't listen to metal.
yeah. No, like I at this point I assume everybody listens to everything. I can't not
Yeah,
like again the best and worst parts about living in the future is that everybody has access to everything, which is
yeah,
super cool. But yeah, like I don't, you can't make that assumption anymore,
right.
which is again super nice. It's, again, like I and like I look like a bad guy in an '80s movie, like the last muscle before the like old white guy like with his tented fingers,
Yeah,
and yeah, like
you look like a
and
guy that murdered RoboCop.
I absolutely I look like Clarence Boddicker. It makes me very happy. That's actually my but I just but like again I mean my tastes outside of metal are very like very are varied and kind of not I guess people have been surprised by that when
Yeah,
you look like this. So
yeah,
can't
and
make
I, I
can't
I
judge.
think that's like the interesting fun thing is like I don't wear as many like metal band shirts as I used to when I was younger. Now it's all like horror movies and video games and anime stuff, and it's like nobody would suspect that I listen to heavy metal if they just like nowadays, like maybe like 10 years ago probably,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's always interesting when you like meet somebody who just kind of looks normal and they're like, oh yeah, I fucking love Cannibal Corpse or whatever the
yeah.
fuck.
Oh, like I used to like despite being lifelong straight edge, I've spent most of my like career stuff like running bars because it's what you do when you tour. And
Yeah,
I was wearing a blasphemy shirt, and a very like proper gentleman was like, ah yes, like literally clean, like the most like cartoonish like white guy in a suit was like, oh yes, fantastic. I'm a huge fan. Fallen Angel of Doom was one of my favorite albums ever. And then just kind of like starts to get into this. I'm just like, you know what? Even I wouldn't have clocked that. So good on you, man.
yeah. I love it.
You also like music that sounds like a broken air conditioner unit. I appreciate that.
So, okay, for people that may not know, listening to this podcast, you kind of mentioned this earlier. So, when the Hubris Cannon kind of was like a pandemic thing, you were just wanting to make music. Kind of take me back to like the impetus of it and like how it all started to like where we're at now with this current record that you're about to put out.
I was in I was in a band called Young Beasts for a minute, which came from our which was like a kind of hardcore band that came from another band of another band, that kind of like domino of several people doing the same thing, that put out a record right as uh, everything shut down, and so that kind of like put a kibosh on it. And I have another project that that's a funeral doom band that's again the same style of Hubris, where it's just me in a bedroom. But I'd finished writing that new record, and I'm just like, I need to do something, and I needed to be like, I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to, and by doing that, it's like, okay, what do I not particularly like?
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, bands like Throwdown and like that kind of like tough guy hardcore.
yeah,
And I'm like, okay, like let me try to do this. Like sit down and just literally just like, okay, I'm gonna give myself like 3 hours to shit out as many songs as I can. And from what I intended to do, I failed miserably. Like it doesn't sound like that at all. But I'm like, oh, this doesn't suck. and put it online and did like a 50 CD like run of it, and it sold out. And I was like, okay, cool. Okay, maybe I'll do some more. Right then, I did the second demo, and I was like, okay, this people seem to like this.
Yeah.
And um, a friend of mine like reached out, like not like because Hubris Cannon was a very faceless thing that I didn't really like tell people about. But a friend of mine reached out, not knowing I was in it. He was like, "Oh, hey, would you guys like to play the show?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And I kind of rallied the troops of members of bands I was currently in, and I was like, "Hey, you guys are unbelievably talented musicians. Will you do this, please?" And yeah, it worked out well.
I
And
mean,
from
hey,
there,
at least you kind of like jumped on that opportunity to play live shows. I've talked to a lot of guys who are just like, nah, this is like a studio only kind of thing. Like we don't really want to play shows, and taking that opportunity is like, especially around that time too, is like that's a good move.
well, I just wanted like I have to play. It's
Yeah,
like I hate studio work. Despise
yeah,
every moment of it. Like I it's a necessary evil. I don't like there's no creativity for me like when I go into the studio. If I'm going to record like a record from start to finish, I have the songs, they've been demoed. This is just where my hands start getting like I become significantly worse at playing all the instruments and then just have to deal with it. And again, like if I create music, it's meant to be performed
right.
because that's the only way I can like like it's yeah it needs to be happen. I can't just sit in a room and go okay, well that's done anyway. Next thing, it's just like if I did it, it's for consumption in a live setting, which I just repeated like 3 times and not even different ways. So I'm gonna stop being redundant and go yeah,
Oh man,
fuck. I understand why people do studio projects. It's just not for me.
yeah. So taking from that like initial like wanting to like do the hardcore thing, and it ended up being a little bit more than just hardcore and a bunch of different things, and you kind of like kept going that route, but adding a lot more like different genres in there with this record. Like, was that a conscious decision, or is that just what happened when you started writing stuff?
Well, it's just like I the first demos, like everything up until like the songs that were written explicitly for Revised.
Hmm.
It was me just still trying to kind of do things that are like outside of my wheelhouse while being at least like roughly parallel with like things I enjoy.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a hard like a tough guy hardcore record, but I also don't want to go as far as like being as good or like intentional as a band like Botch or Dead Guy or like bands like that that I do like really enjoy. And then I started writing songs that were more of my alley, like kind of from where I come from, which is like the again the grind in the like kind of black metal world, and but just making the dumbest possible versions of it, just kind of like the fat like it's like if like a crossed out 7 inch was fat and had a breakdown or two in it, and that's kind of where like that's where my brain goes. It's like okay, well, what do I want to hear mixed with the like here is the skeleton of the idea. I'm going to build on that now with things that I am more familiar with and things that I kind of really want to hear in music, if that makes
So
sense.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So when you like, I guess when you were like ready to start working on Revise, like had this just been stuff you'd been working on like just constantly, or was it like, okay, I'm gonna actually like start writing a record?
I am always writing and demoing music for like however whatever many like even if it doesn't go anywhere, I always have stuff I want to do, and
Yeah.
I'm always I have to write. It's just this is what my brain does,
Hmm.
and something like oh I'll sit down and and like whatever comes out will end up being like one of these several different projects, whatever like genre it is. I can kind of like feel where it's going, and then from there kind of sit down and write the song. And I was always writing the follow up, and I already had the plan like the for if you were unaware of Magic the Gathering, then the like the record doesn't make as much sense in like as far as the why they're half the songs are re-recorded, and they were always intended to be so. So again, because it's like again like literally the demos are alpha, beta, unlimited, and then summer, and then revised is meant to be like the song like half the songs that I really wanted that I really loved from that like initial like group, and then the ones that I wrote like afterwards with intent. And so I'm always like so like sorry, I never sat down and was like I need to write this record and like I have to write a record. This is what this is the next step. It's just like okay, these are the songs that that I have that I've been working on. This is like and this all kind of comes together. Like does this work cohesively as a record? And it did. And I'm like okay, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I mean like there are a bunch of songs that never made it to any of the demos or any of the stuff. And this is it all had to make sense. And again and because I'm dumb and it was like oh I no matter what I have to re-record a bunch of stuff for this. There was only a particular amount of room to make it all work.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I appreciate that level of nerddom to where like like how like if like you said if you're into Magic the Gathering those first few these kind of reprint sets
Yeah,
of the original um but I mentioned too that like that's only like all parts of the band and like the meme aspect of it is like it's all named after Magic the Gathering stuff. But when you dig a little deeper and you look at the lyrical content and everything, it's like a completely different world. It's more real and like political, I
it,
guess, for lack of a better word.
oh
Um,
yeah, it is nothing like the like
there's
out,
substance,
outside of like the naming convention and just like kind of like the weird like structure. There's nothing like I don't sing
right?
about like Dominaria. I don't sing about like I don't sing about like it's I can't do that. There are a bunch of bands that do, and hell,
Sure.
that's fantastic. Good on them. I can't. I kind of choose like a title based on like and then based on kind of like the way the record sounds, so the way the song sounds. Then from there, kind of the title and like kind of indicates the vibe of the song itself. But like lyrically, it's all very specific and not at all to do with Magic the Gathering. Which is again,
Yeah.
which I probably like again, much love to those that do that, but I'm too angry. Like I have to be. I have to say they have to discuss particular things and like lyrically. Otherwise, it's just I don't see the purpose.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with keeping that surface level of like, yeah, this
yeah
song was awesome. Not about a fairy that on your upkeep you damage and that would be
yeah
boring. That wouldn't be fun. Like I don't want to
yeah
listen to a song about that. No offense.
yeah no
But, you know, getting down to like right that's going on in the world and like being angry at everything that's going on. I think that lends to the overall feeling and mood of the music too, instead of singing about, like you said,
yeah
Dominaria and stuff like that.
yeah. It's not my like I don't understand again, this is not in like a detrimental way or like denigrate people like bands that don't have like a political aspect to their lyrics. But I just doesn't I don't it doesn't I don't comprehend it.
Yep.
I don't understand why how you can write a song and it not really have that much like meaning or like be very specific or like deal like, even if it's like a bit like very vague deal with very particular things. And like I wish I could do that. I wish I could just like carelessly write stuff because that would be great. That would save me a whole lot of time and effort. But there there has to be intent or I don't know what the fucking point of this is. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was having a sort of similar conversation with a different band and like, we were on the topic of like, you have like these deathcore and death metal bands that write about like zombies and doing so misogyny and all that kind of shit. And
Yeah.
like we were talking about how the average metal listener, like that's what they gravitate towards because they don't look any deeper than like surface level of the band, you know? And I think that that's like doing the music an injustice. Like I think people should be looking below that surface and being like, well, what writing about? Like, does it have something to say? And like I get like wanting to listen
Yeah.
to dumb shit sometimes. Like that's totally cool. I do the same thing. But when a band does have something, you need to listen and and kind of like take that to I don't know, like your own.
Yeah. Like I mean, like some of my favorite things. Like I remember, like the kind of like the like earlier like bands like Ground and like or
Mhm.
like yeah, like all the old Evolution record stuff. Where you like get these records and they have this again like just in the record. Here is a like 17-page zine with a bunch of articles by a bunch of different people and like these like we are very explicit about this like which is like it's strange to think that the idea that like it boils down to bad things are not okay
Yeah.
is difficult for people to kind of grasp as a for a band to do now, which is I don't know it's again I feel again it's always been a major part of like the kind of more extreme versions of hardcore and like a lot like the like crust and such, but it never really it didn't doesn't really make it to like a lot of the metal stuff.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that kind of changing a little bit in recent days. Again, there are only so many times I can listen to like a Beharit records. Like, yeah, we get it, Satan, cool. Like this still it
Yeah.
rules. Like, but I'm good. I totally get it.
Yeah,
Like,
I didn't
yeah,
use this example the other day when I was talking to this other band, but like I was just thinking like bands that kind of and like nobody really found out until like much later into their like career, but cattle decapitation, they're
oh
writing
yeah,
about like veganism for the longest time and really caught on until like after Harvest Floor, like human manure, like around there, and like
yeah,
people were like, oh, they're not writing about like death metal
yeah,
stuff. It's like, no, dude, you gotta read the lyrics more.
yeah. I mean, like to serve man is such a great pun.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and I also just realized I said ground and I meant to say groundwork. I do apologize. That makes that if that makes my previous rant about zines make more sense. The band Groundwork, which is a great band. But yeah, sorry, I just
Yeah, I
misspoke.
mean, dudes, zine. I never got into zines, but like I was always aware of them and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But it was like kind of like right before my of like getting into music. I was in that weird era where like CDs are still there, cassettes were kind of on their way out,
Yeah.
and then like within like a year or two, like MP3s and all that shit was just like
Oh yeah.
everywhere.
Which was like to be fair, which was great. Like I
Yeah,
was able to find so much music that I thought I never would hear because of that. Just like these like holy grail records and listening. Oh, I can finally have access to this. It's
yeah,
like I couldn't I didn't like post Napster like large scale like music sharing was a big thing when I was like in like 16 like 15 16 17
yeah,
and like it's like oh cool I've heard like shit lickers like referenced in like anti Cimex and stuff like all like oh I can finally hear what this sounds like, awesome. And yeah, that was great. Very great.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what happened to me, man. Because like I was one of the very few like kids in my school that listened to metal, and then like a lot of the people that I were friends with were like always like baseline, which there's nothing wrong with this. Just want to throw that out there. But, like kind of baseline like metalcore, hardcore stuff, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool, but like, where's Dissection? Do you know them? Like, you want to listen to that? Cool. And everybody's like, this is fucking awful. I don't want to hear this. And it's like, oh, you want to listen to Atreyu? All right.
Yeah, that's some uh, that's that I like yeah I feel like too much Atreyu would definitely get me to go full dissection. That tracks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It was fun but difficult. Like, fun looking back, but like at the time difficult
yeah,
being that listen to shit like that because like nobody got it or cared about it. And I was like, but this is the coolest shit ever. And it's like, No.
Oh yeah, trying to convince my friends who are all in like hardcore bands, like, oh no, like no, you should really check out like, hey, this band is called Yakopsa. They play really fast, and just like this doesn't make I this sounds like noise. And it's like, and then it's like, oh, you'll like, okay, like hardcore. Okay, this is a band called Backstabbers Inc. Check this out. It's like it's too angry. Like, all right, fine, fuck it, never mind. Just it's cool. You guys do you. I'll listen to that same Norma Jean breakdown again.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's I don't know. But eventually it's like you get older, you start meeting those people who are like more like-minded and have the same music taste,
Yeah.
and then you guys all start like bouncing off each other. It's like that's when you like really start discovering more music, is when you finded people. That was always the best part of
Like
when I started meeting people like that.
I don't know, I think like I was just too obsessive, but like
Mhm.
where it was just like I didn't like I said, I don't have time to meet or talk to people. It's like it's like okay, what like read liner notes. What bands do they think? Look at the t-shirts. Okay, cool. Like and that's that and from there like, you kind of just like branch out. And so
Yeah.
like that's how I heard Siege for the first time, and that still
Ah,
like dude, that's like that's my like that might be my favorite one. Like I don't like to like list things in like numerically, but one of my like five most important records to me was Drop Dead. That record is so good. It's the same like that like mentioned about Dillinger. Like if that record came out
yeah.
tomorrow, it would be like, oh this is the best like grindy hardcore record ever. And then you like this like oh yeah, but this is in like 83, like 83 to 85, and it's just like oh wow, this I can imagine being like in some shitty club in Boston and just seeing this happen. But
Yeah, man. Sometimes I do feel like I was born in the wrong era. Like I would have much preferred to have been like maybe not my current age, but a little bit younger in like the early 80s, like to mid 80s, and like seen everything like from then on. Man,
I don't,
that
like
was great.
I've thought that before, but I'm really glad that I am where I like I'm at the perfect age. I just turned 37, and where
Me
it's
too,
just like
actually.
I got to enjoy the hunting aspect when I was much younger. I'm really like I live in Atlanta again now, but I grew up in Georgia, and there was
Mhm.
a shitty venue called Swayze's just north of the city that had a death metal record store inside of it. I remember like being like 15 and like, hey, dad, will you drive me 45 minutes to go to this place that you have no interest in so I can pick up I say, well, about $100 I've saved. I'm gonna just waste it on a bunch of stuff I've never heard before. So like it's like, all right, well, I guess I'm listening to these records for the next 6 months, no matter if they're good or bad.
Yeah, that's taking a gamble.
Yeah,
It
but
was not that brave. I think I maybe did that like a handful of times where I would just like unknowingly buy something and it worked out, but then there was a bunch, there's a bunch of times when you do
yeah.
that and it's like, man, why did I just
Thank,
waste $20 on that?
well, thankfully this was like literally it was a death metal like it was an extreme record store.
Yeah.
It was just like it was a there was a label called Deathgasm that came out of Atlanta that just put a bunch of like gross death metal and like gore grind records like bands like Skeleton of God and like Amoebic Dysentery like again like music that doesn't do much for me but like it's like okay well this is if I'm going to find anything it's going to be here and it did. It was great. I'm like ended up finding a bunch of like really weird like grind in black metal records. I remember I remember showing up and going, so what do you recommend? And he had I guess Invoking the Majestic Throne of Satan by Inquisition had just come out. He's like, here you
Mhm.
go, listen to this. I'm like, okay. And it's like this sounds like a Muppet. Why am I enjoying this? And yeah, just to kind of
Yeah.
like
Yeah, there's man, I can't think of any like off the top of my head, but there was a few bands that like I remember having like one album from them and then like they never did anything else. And like there's been a lot of times where I've like tried to like Google search, like look for them, metal archives, whatever, and like it's like they'd never existed. sometimes. And then like randomly, sometimes it'll pop up again. And I'll be like, oh my God, that's that fucking band that I was looking for that
It's like,
I
yes,
heard one
finally.
album of. Yeah. And you would think like, it's quite easy to find some of that shit. If
No,
it
like
wasn't put up on the internet after a certain time, like good luck.
like it's absurd with like how difficult it is to still find some music,
Hmm.
and it like it's there's so much like surprisingly good shit that's kind of like just disappeared into the ether because it was never properly backed up. Because why would it be? I mean, like
Yeah.
it was a like a set that like was dubbed 23 times and then just was like shared between four people and then the rest of it were thrown away.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
it's,
Yeah.
like I
Now,
remember,
I mean, now everything's digital, so it's on there forever.
which I'm kind of cool with,
Yeah.
even though it again my buddy Gavin like who runs a label called Stick Figure
Yep.
was they like the Atlanta label they did everybody from like me and him called us and I would set myself on fire for you to like Deer Hunter and he put it as like you know punk rock run and I'm sorry punk rock won and now we have to deal with it and it's like oh yeah it's like yeah because like now everything that we wanted to hear and like all this information is finally out in the world and it's just like oh cool this didn't change the world the way we thought it was it just made more terrible people gravitate towards us and misinterpret the things that we have. So it's like, okay, well, now everything's on there. Now everybody can see everything. Maybe the world will get better. It has.
So when you say that, do you mean like people misinterpreting things like lyrically or just like
But it's just the idea of like the prototypical punk rocker kind of
okay.
like the where it just kind of become like the jock mentality making its way into like hardcore more so
Yep.
than it already was, and then like other things where it's where any like nuance or any idea of like change or like 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 just like just positive thinking in general is kind of gone by the wayside for we I want to kick you in the teeth because that's what I do. This is great. I'm really glad this can happen now.
Yeah.
That like whatever nuance was there is kind of it can be kind of very easily mistaken, which sucks. Which is why I like I try hard to kind of ride the line as far as being very clear as far as like my intent while also keeping things more like well again having like metaphorical and like vague and interpretive like lyrical content but just being very clear that my it's like okay like what you might think this is about doesn't matter because this is what it's about fuck you like this is the like these like this is about like I mean like every I guess realistically like everything I write is about like abolishing conservative thought in some way shape or
Yes.
form that's kind
Yeah, I
of
was gonna
the like
say,
very very angry very have done my best to kind of like try to keep a less extreme rhetoric than I would honestly like to give. But it's just like it's tough because I like I don't like as somebody who like kind of like for a long time was very much a like a nonviolence it like is the key to kind of like moving things forward and being a better of a person and
sure.
like through that we can kind of like achieve stuff and as like where we consistently face like are facing down a bunch of like barely literate nitwits with guns it's like okay maybe this might not be the best option while still trying to like kind of keep that in mind and always like pushing that but just having to come to terms with that is part of what this record is about it's like oh maybe these things that I believe might not be like I might have like the fear of having to become something I don't want to be in order to protect myself and and the people I care about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, man, is like I actually weirdly think about that a lot too, because it's like these conservatives, we'll just use that word, so
Yeah,
the one I use, enrage me so much half the time that I feel violent towards them. But it's like, well, if I do that, I'm lowering myself to what they want, and I don't want to give them that because that's what they want. They want us to look violent and like to, I don't know,
I,
fuck them
like,
up. I
like
don't know. It's just like
they want a reason to shoot you.
yeah,
They like
yeah,
they have an inferiority complex. They have like a dozen guns on them at any point in time, and they're just itching to use them. And so it's like, cool. I'm like if I like yell at you in your pickup truck, then then I like you're going to want to try to start something and take out whatever nonsense you've been kind of like building up inside. So I don't know, it's weird. I like it's a weird place to be. I don't again, but I stand by nonviolence is key to all of it.
it's gonna kind of share and show you this because like I don't live very far from you. I'm up in Chattanooga, so I'm like 2 hours
Oh
away.
yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah. Like I was just up at Chattanooga.
yeah.
My band turned cold played up there.
What?
At
Really?
yeah, like, uh yeah, some
Damn.
tiny it wasn't at the at Dark Roast, is it the other one?
JJ's.
Uh yeah, JJ's.
Okay. Damn,
It was
dude.
like it's
And
good,
yeah,
but like a shockingly good show.
yeah, that they've been getting some pretty like solid stuff up here lately, and I've been like pleasantly surprised. I don't like going to JJ's, but it's been like, well, shit, now I gotta go to JJ's because I want to see this band. But man, like within the past week, we've had like see this, but this shit popping up all over our
Jesus
city.
Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like none of those people got a. It took them 3 weeks to get, and it's like if I would go out there and like spray over it or like do anything, I would be the one that would get arrested. Like
Yeah.
dumb fucking like turnaround of it because the cops are helping these people unknowingly or knowingly,
Or no, or no,
it's
like it's yeah, no, when somebody else when somebody else does it, they're terrorists.
mhm.
When they do it, they're patriots, and it's just like, well, I hate to tell you this, but you're the like by your own belief system. What you say you believe, you currently believe yourself to be treason to the country that you still believe in, and I don't understand how you don't see that. And it's just it feels like you could very easily like sci-fi movie paradox lock like an android like by having these conversations with them, but
Yeah,
instead they just get angry.
yeah, this isn't any kind of reason whatsoever, and it's
Yeah.
just like what, how do you even like break through that? Like do you just like give them mountains of psychedelics and be like, hey man, uh maybe go open your mind a little bit and travel the world or something? I don't know, but
I don't know, like it's just like
yeah,
it's we're at a point where I think that like there's that like fallacy of like, well, every generation thinks the next generation is shitty. And
sure,
it's like, no, I think the generation after me is going to be great. Like they've already proven that with this abundance of information, they're able to like slowly but surely kind of go, oh no, these things are not okay. These things are not okay. Like, like human rights are for everybody. Like it's this like these things that kind of like I've had like have been somehow in the background for so long are now very much up front. Even like the prevalence of like the BLM stuff. It's just
mhm,
like I remember growing up and like being involved in direct action. It's just like art even fighting for like for the like similar things. We couldn't like no one could ever get numbers, and like through like education and through like the use of the internet. It's just like, oh, these like we can actually properly gather, probably like properly get the word out. It's been awesome, and like again, if even if we survive 3 more years, we'll be fine. Otherwise, probably not.
yeah,
But like it,
it's been one of those times where I'm always like, man, was like were things always this bad? And then when you like kind of go back and like look at the '60s specific, I think the '70s as well a little bit there. Man, the '60s were in such turmoil that it looks like it's just repeating all the going on minus like all the fucking assassinations of
Yeah,
presidents and civil rights leaders, but it's just like
yeah,
how do we get stuck doing the same shit over and over? Like how do we not learn from this stuff? And that's what I'm like, oh man, humans are just dumb. Like
yeah.
you
Like I
know,
mean,
if you
like
really want to get down to stupid.
well, I mean, like we're not even like in the cycle of like we've been downgraded to like the like this is like like the intense turmoil of the 60s like help like was like building towards a change.
Hmm.
The only thing that we're building towards is like this is very much this is like less 60s America and more like 30s Germany. And it's just like, oh
Right.
cool, like it's like, oh, like, and it's just it hurts my brain to kind of like have to look around and go like I just don't understand how you can see these things and interpret it in that manner. But
Yep.
that's just me. I have a heart, so that's my mistake. Like I can like I can read and I have empathy, so like that's my privilege as
Yep.
opposed to most of the motherfuckers that live around me. And
Yeah,
again,
man. That's
when you look like me, also it's tough to like to like you end up in more conversations than you would like with it having to explain. It's like, oh no, I think you've misjudged me greatly. like like it's like, you know what I hate? I'm like, I'm gonna stop you right there, but like I will hit you. Like I just to let you know, I understand. Like I'm bald because I can't grow hair, so I shave my head. There's no other. All I want to do is put a brick through the windshield of your pickup truck.
yeah.
So just stop me ahead of time. But like I don't really want to have a conversation in this line at a gas station. So you can go ahead. Go ahead. You go ahead, me, bud. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind
But
of sad too because like we have more technology and information at our fingertips than at any point in time in history, and people still. I mean, we also have misinformation, so it's like the bad part. But people still can't just educate themselves just a modicum more than the average person to like not be so hateful. I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't know why. And maybe you were you. I don't. You know. I don't know if you were raised the same way as I was. Obviously, you weren't. You know, nobody's ever raised the same way.
yeah,
You know, I feel lucky that like when I was growing up, I wasn't taught that like, oh, that person has a different skin color, so that means they're different. It's just like
yeah,
that's just a different skin color. Oh, this person goes to a different church. That's all it meant to me. It didn't mean that
yeah.
they were like lesser than a human being. It's just like they're a human being. So it's
No,
like I've just kind of always been like, yeah, they're just a person. It affects my life in no way what this person's doing. And I, you know, I maybe this is kind of dumb. I mean, actually, this is kind of dumb, but I'm gonna say it anyways.
yeah.
I feel the same way about like conservatives. Whatever they're fucking doing, like I don't care. Like they're not like how should I word this without sounding like an asshole?
Well, no, I understand what you're saying. It's like everybody has their own unique belief system, and that's
Right.
totally cool. Everybody has their
Yes.
own perspective, and like there's like who am I to judge your experience against mine?
Yes.
And to the point where up until recent like the past couple of years, I've always been more critical of the left because
Mhm.
that's where I live. And the paradigm changed once we started falling into these very specific patterns that have like shown themselves previously in in like proto-fascist governmental systems. And then with again like Roe v. Wade being overturned, like that puts people that think that's people like that will hurt people, that has hurt people, like that has a
Yeah.
but like that is a decision that it has a body count.
Yep.
So you are now hurting people. You are now like your belief system is no longer a belief system. It is a hateful, violent act. So yeah, you like what you are doing is no longer just, well, tomato, to each their own. It's like no, you have you've driven drunk, you've killed 3 people. That's not just a whoopsie.
Yeah.
Like you like so that's been the change again because I've again always been a like despite my own like beliefs about like again like religion and like conservative beliefs. It's like you know what it's barbaric, but
Sure.
who like that's not me. I like to take the book from their own page, like take a page from their own book. Like he who was without sin cast the first stone. That's not me. I'm a piece of shit myself. So like you can be a very liberal, open minded, straight edge person and also be just garbage, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But one now that it's turned into an like this is an overwhelming force to hurt people and a force based on hate and like miseducation. So yeah, that's there's been a paradigm shift. It's not a belief system. You are actually like trying to hurt people I care about. Because
Yeah.
I'll be honest, realistically, I'll be fine. I am a big angry like heteronormative cis white man. Like I have nothing to worry about.
See, that's where
But
I was kind of going with that. It's like I'm
like
a white man, so like I have this privilege and stuff, but like I don't think that's fair. Like I don't want to say that like
it,
I'm not very
like,
eloquent with this stuff either, but it's like, I know how I feel, and like I refuse to treat people like shit or like they're not a person, because like even if their like ideas are horrible, if they're hateful, like yeah, that's when I'll like
yeah,
stand up and be like, you're a piece of shit, dude. Like
yeah.
a little bit
Oh, you
of
know,
like thinking outside yourself and look at the rest of the world, you know?
people don't do that. Like like I'm not even asking for critical thinking. It's just like baseline conversation. Just any little bit, just little bit
Yeah.
of effort put into it. It's like a friend of mine put it like like when the with the all lives matter thing. It's like yeah, all lives matter makes sense if you don't think about it at all in any way, shape, or form, or put it into context. It's like that's not it's like and so like that's what these people like gravitate towards. Like oh and well I'm a part of this, and if you like, if you don't understand why that is a hateful thing to, like that is intentionally like there to run counter to, like a just systematic problem that again, like I can like it just it's not even like worth getting into anymore because it's just like
Yeah.
everything it's all out there. I don't need to inform people anymore, which is nice because it's all out there and yeah, I just it's all it takes is just a little bit of effort, just a touch of empathy for your fellow man, and that's it.
Yeah.
And there's people are so indoctrinated with this bizarre fear and this like idea of it's like the like American exceptionalism thing, or just like we are the first world, we are the best, we are great, and anything that could run counter to that or like shed light on things, it also doesn't even necessarily mean that like what you believe is like or like the country that you believe in the most is bad. Like there are faults.
Hmm.
So you like if something's broken, you look at it and you fix it to have everything running the best it can. You don't like if you have a very nice car and you have to change your oil. You have to.
Yeah.
But like if you're like, oh no, I don't want like the oil's fine. Like if you're telling me this isn't a nice car, I'm like, no, you like the car's great, but you need to change your oil. Like you need to replace your brakes, homie. Like you're gonna get hurt. It's like, oh no, this is like you're telling me my car is shitty. Well, fuck you, and then driving off into the distance. And it's like, oh, okay, well, never mind then. Yeah,
Yeah. I
again,
think
I
like
sorry.
we're kind of talking and channeling all that into heavy metal and punk and hardcore. Like that's how a lot of the early years with the genre were, man. I mean, Nazi punks fuck off. Like that was
It's
just in the genre, like even if it was punk, like it's always been a thing to keep those people out of the scene. And you know,
like well, I
I
mean, like
still think
again,
we're
like
doing a good job, but there's room for improvement.
I don't know, man. I came from the black metal scene, and boy, howdy, am I glad I left the black metal scene. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
but
I know how bad the black metal scene is for sure.
even that, it's the that was more offhanded. Like black metal is not black metal is not riddled with Nazis. There just happen to be more than you would expect.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it just I don't know, like that. Well, that's why that's also like that's I always gravitated towards bands like that. Bands that have like bands you can tell it comes from a very particular place. It
Mhm.
just like you are performing because you have something to do when you have something to say. Like it isn't just like, well, I kind of want to play in a rock and roll band, and I want to. This will be fun. Like it's like no, like this is if I could become a fucking accountant, I would. If I could never like pick up a microphone, if I could just fucking like do data entry and just be like, well, I'm gonna get some sleep, have fun with the kids, and
Away.
yeah, like if I could not do this shit, I would. Like, but I have to because I can't not. I this is the only place I can kind of take the feelings I have and the things that I'm trying to deal with and put it into both a visual and an audible medium.
Hmm.
And even if you can't understand what I'm saying, the angry guy running around screaming at the top of his lungs should give you a hint.
Yeah.
And but like the record, like again, the again, like I redrew the artwork, the cover like 4 or 5 times, and then I finally settled on what it is, and then took months like doing a piece for like if like every like the not as like a way to plug it, but just the every like the liner notes are it's like a literally printed comic book of just like each page is like a piece with song lyrics on it, and spent too much time doing it. But it's just all like this is I don't you like this like music and Hubris Cannon in this instance is a way for me to get everything that I feel onto a page into like onto just like hey, this is 24 minutes of me being very angry and me going through my own shit. I hope I hope you don't have to feel like this, but if you do, here is how I interpreted it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the artwork and everything because I was saying I had everything like pulled up here and the very like last page of it, it says conservatism is fascism and I was like, well damn, that's a hell of a way to go out with that. But I mean, yeah, like
Yeah,
each page of it is like really stark black and like might be white, maybe off white. My computer's weird with like how it's set up, but like
I,
yeah,
it,
you know,
it was originally kind of like an olive drab, but just for for costing measures, it is
yeah,
black and white.
okay, cool. But yeah, I mean, it's well thought out because art is also like the actual art is a big part of like how a music band is presented and like everything that goes into that. So if you have this whole book, like me and you were kind of brought up in the same era, so it's like, well, shit, I'm gonna read this and I'm gonna look through it and I'm gonna be like, well, what is this person saying? And then that's where I would get hooked in personally. And then if I was doing that and I saw that at the very end, I'd be like, oh shit, well, like this is going everywhere. Like I fucking love this. Like let me buy more copies of this to fucking just put it up around my town.
Yeah, like again, again, I summed it up as again, it's not a lyric on the record or anything, but it's wishful thinking in the face of Armageddon,
Yeah,
and that's kind of what it's about being angry, but again, still hopeful, like still trying so hard to believe in the good of your neighbor.
I
Well,
appreciate that because that's
not quite. Well, with the under the understanding that with the reality is like maybe that's not going to be the case. So be prepared, but fingers crossed.
yeah. Kind of off topic, but also on topic
Yeah.
of what we were talking about a minute ago. This I will never forget this as long as I live. So you kind of like Roe v. Wade and everything, and when that happened, I was at work the day that happened, and I worked in a coffee shop, and this girl had come in, and she wanted to order some specific drink, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're out of that." And in her like verbatim thing was like, "Oh my God, that's like the worst today." And like I blurted out loud to her, I was like, "That's the worst thing that happened to you today?" I was like, You just lost all of your rights as a woman and you couldn't get your fucking
Jesus.
coffee, and that's the worst thing that's happened to you. Where are you in reality right now? I was just like, I was
You know,
so
that's
dumbfounded by this.
yeah, that was I was like um I know that was fun. Yeah, that was a bad day for a lot of people. That is very funny. That was the God. I couldn't tell if it was going to be if it was either going to be that's the worst thing, that's happened today, or God, how could this day get any worse? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, I have news for you.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
like
It's,
check your phone tomorrow. Give it 12 hours.
I just couldn't believe that. I was like, man, I'm so sorry that you feel that way right now, but you know what?
And
Can't do
I mean,
can't do anything about it.
vividly, I vividly remember that shit. I was like,
Yeah.
I do, like in one of my professionally right now, I'm a writer and I do set work, rigging electric stuff for film and television.
Nice.
And I was on set, and I got a phone call from my partner just sobbing. And I'm just like, okay. It's like I knew like I like because we'd heard like whispers of it, and it's like, okay, that is, and just had to like console somebody. I was like, there's nothing I can do to sit like that can make like I can't possibly put myself in your position. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever I can do, I can be here, but I can't. I think that's the worst thing about it is like I can't even. I can't know what that like what level of just discomfort that must come I'll never I as who I am. I can only know secondhand, and just and there's nothing I can do to make it better other than just keep just plugging shit. It's like, hey man, having that conversation with people, especially now, like I'm again as somebody who's on the extreme left and always has been, having to explain to people like who are like, well, actually, like I don't think I'm not voting for anybody. It's like, no, that's not the I'm not a fan of the person I'm voting for, but for two things. One, this is not like you like your moral high ground is not worth other like a chance of other people getting hurt. Which
Yeah.
if if the right gets their way, they will. Not and like scare tactics. I mean, literally these like there's like 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 a now convicted felon running on a message of hate and violence. And from the other aspect of just the if that doesn't if you can't be like swayed by that, it's like, well, the other person's very bad too. It's like, listen, you're totally right,
Yeah.
but and also in the same breath is like, hey, as a leftist, you get to choose your enemy. And so choose your enemy. Like if you like, don't give me the ones that can't read and have guns. Give me the other ones. Give me the ones who don't who kind of have a similar idea ideas that we do, but haven't fully embraced it. We can work with that. Like so choose your enemy. You get to do that. And if you
Yeah,
don't,
it's
then I don't know. Like it's weird. Like and that's my current talking point because it's like I don't like nothing else matters right now. Because if this does not go the way that we would all like to,
it's not
it's
gonna be
going
good.
like it's GG's. Like it's totally done. Like,
Yeah,
but on the bright side,
it's been a little disheartening to see online discourse where people are like, "Oh, well, I don't want to vote for a guy who's committing genocide." And I'm like, "Well, he's not actively committing genocide. That's a whole nother country. You can't blame this on this motherfucker." And
and and,
it's like,
and it's like you
you can only do
motherfuckers
so
like
much. We're not the fucking police of the world either. Like, I hate that we have
man.
to like do that all the time.
Man, can you believe those atrocities that are currently happening, like all of a sudden have been continually happening for decades and decades and decades, and like mostly funded by American money. It's almost like everybody who you think you believed in like did way more to like assist Israel than Biden did. Like
Yeah.
this for the first time ever, there's actually discourse, which fuck, like it, I never thought I would see this day. It's fucking awesome to have this many people going like, hey, wait a minute, like this, like it might be too late, or it might be just in time. But
Yeah,
it's
that's a good
a
point.
beautiful fucking thing to see that
Yeah.
people are are finally hip to a bunch of like important causes. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about like this new generation kind of being better than everybody else. And but again, hopefully like those blinders of absolutes don't cause people to not show out,
Yeah.
because the only way we can lose this is through inaction on our end.
Yeah, I mean
And that's this the scary thing.
it's even made me like look a lot deeper into it because like I've always been like very unsure about whatever is going on over there, and it's like, well, who do I listen to on this? Like I don't know who's right, who's wrong. Like maybe I should just like read my own information and look at history and like figure
Oh
out
yeah.
what the fuck is going on. And I know people dying is bad, period, regardless. Like it fucking sucks. Like, but
Well,
I don't know.
I mean
I can't do shit about it.
it's just important to be informed. Like I've never like ever asked anybody. I've never like I will never tell somebody something or like give an opinion on something that unless I'm like 100% like I'm like, hey, this is my this is what I believe after consuming enough information on these subjects.
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat talking points to you. I'm not going to just hear something and parrot it back. And like that's fucking cheating. It's like cool. Like like yes, this is the you had the right answer, but you didn't show your work. Like why is this the right answer? You're correct, but in order to kind of like have any weight behind it, you have to know why, you have to know how, the specifics of it, and yeah, yeah, again, like there are a lot of like other factors, blah 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 blah. But genocide is bad, so that's cool. That's like if that's your argument, sure, that's also great. That's the least amount of effort you can put into it. Then yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's it's just it's just important to kind of stay aware because you won't be as surprised when things happen.
Um, Not to shift gears like
I don't know.
entirely here, because like this has been great, man. Like I usually try to stay away from political stuff on the podcast, but honestly, like
Oh, I
it's been
tried
great.
really like that. I tried really hard to like just keep everything very much in. Like I tried to not go too far off. I do
Yeah,
apologize if
yeah. No,
I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no. I don't care, man. No subject is
Yes.
I like to just have conversations, and that's the way I like to keep
Yeah.
it with the podcast. But I do want to talk about so I know you kind of mentioned this earlier as far as like recording. You said you don't enjoy it. It's not creative to you. But as far as like, revised, when did that process re-recorded a bunch of stuff? Like, did you do everything yourself? Did you go to studio? Like, what was that
The
whole
r- r-
like process?
uh, like just to kind of like qualify it. In Hubris Cannon and again like another band named after a magic card that no one knows is Lost Hours, which is a very heavy doom band, and other projects. It's always been me in a room
Okay.
and just recording myself, and no one's ever really kind of picked up on it. In fact, for some reason, some some like this is the first time revised is the first time anyone has ever said, "Are those drums like programmed?" Like, no, this is actually the first time this we actually have a live. Our drummer just happens to be that good. I'm sorry, but but no, this is like revised. I wanted to be a collaborative effort. I wanted everybody to kind of play again. I want everyone want to play what they've been playing. Like I wrote the songs. I haven't played them since I wrote them or like
Yeah.
showed them to people. Again, I again write the songs, tab it out, and send it off. Like done. But I my some dear friends of mine in a band called Dead Register have a studio in their back. Like they converted they bought a small house in like unincorporated DeKalb, which is just off the side of Atlanta,
Okay.
and it had a 3 car garage in it, and they remove like I'm saying separate a separate garage, and they converted it into a recording studio and rehearsal space for themselves.
Nice.
And they they were like, okay, we're gonna get you set up while we're gonna be uh, on tour for a month and a half. Go ahead, have at it. And yeah, and so we like had full access to the studio and just took our time, like recorded everything like there. I engineered it all
Oh
and
hell yeah.
worked with a bunch, like did a bunch of the like again like fuck with tone, but we kind of kept it as like straight ahead as possible. And yeah, everybody had a piece, and it was nice. And to the point where like I also like we sent it off to Connor from a band called Mugshot, who has a corruption recordings.
Okay.
He recorded and like mixed and produced the last couple like No Cure records, and
Mm.
like and like in his own stuff. And it's like I love the way that the last No Cure EP sounded. I'm just like, yeah, I want to kind of step out of my comfort zone, both as a like by both not having my own hands on it and by working with somebody who I don't know on a personal level, and also their production style being one that is far from what I would ever do. And it was a really interesting like approach to it. Like I mean, not like interesting for for me, not that's just, I mean that's baseline shit for if like it's not like
Yeah.
interesting from an outsider perspective. That's like what I just described is fucking recording a record. But for me, the idea of working with other people was very novel. So it was just okay, I'm gonna like release control, and then yeah, which was a like what like I really liked what he did. I did some tweaks on the other end to kind of give it a larger sound, because I need that like wall of noise kind of vibe.
I was
But
gonna
it
say because you mentioned the drums and the drums sound fucking incredible on this record.
it's
Like,
it sounds absurd.
yeah, yeah,
Like
they're full, man.
I did the worst job on the record. It's not even close. Like, and yeah, like it was a really nice kind of like again like got to kind of just sit down and it was also nice to like kind of like change like see what was being recorded, like how people were playing songs, like oh actually maybe like little tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
But it was nice. And then I reached out to uh there's like a grant from a bunch of bands, but he currently does a lot in the band, like his like solo project called Abrupt Decay, which um is a great Canadian hardcore band. They're like they're it's like if if Knocked Loose was a like Dillinger style tech band, it's absurd.
Ooh,
And
I'll
again,
have to check it out then.
I'll be honest. I only know the knock loose reference because I heard that band for the first time like 3 days ago. It's like
Okay.
this does sound like this dude. Cool. Which a quick aside
Yeah.
for a band as big as they are, it's not my thing. But that last knock loose record is way better than I was expecting it to be. Like
I
a lot of like more like modern metal bands, it's all shit. But like that was really like that was shockingly competent and like well put together and like heavy and like okay like again not quite my thing, but like hell I'm glad
mhm.
that this is it's like I'm glad like bands like that and like Drain are the ones that are kind of like being like accepted by the more mainstream, or I mean or like the homies and Gatecreeper, like again to
Oh
the
yeah.
like a like again another I guess magic kind of reference, which is the idea that Post Malone put them like on like as the one metal band on his fest. So it's like dude, fuck yeah. But
Yeah.
but so
I
to oh sorry.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I appreciate Knock Loose for what they are, but I have a hard time getting into them. Just like
Yeah.
it's not for me. But
I'm in my I'm in my 30s, homie. I
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's not music for me. like I like I
yeah.
like I it's weird. Like I'm more open to a lot of more like pop centric music than I am like newer like heavy stuff. But it's like I like you like there's a particular like tonality that comes with a lot of like the newer angry bands, and it misses me.
Yeah.
It's probably just it might be a production thing, but yeah, I like they haven't moved in directions that again they've become more cleaner, more efficient versions of that music, which is super awesome. But like what's kind of drawn me to a lot of like other stuff is like the weirder aspects kind of being incorporated. Like there are like those two mid-era Charlie XCX records that A.G. Cook produced, where it's like, oh, this is absurd. This music is great. Like this is like they took a pop star and gave it to a an avant-garde producer, and this is what happened to it. It's like, oh, this is awesome. But sorry, I totally just got like off rail because of ADD
No,
and shit.
no, man.
But I got to but like I got to like he Grant from Abrupt Decay, which again Abrupt Decay is another MTG reference, which like I have to like get him to do like a feature on this record, and which was great, and like in having like then collected a bunch of gang vocals for the last song from a bunch of friends of mine who
Yeah, I
are
saw
also
that.
in some of my like the best bands coming out of the South, like bands Malevich, Clot, Withered. I was in a band called Sons of Tanatia with Dan for years, and it was great to have him like sing on this. And I'm going to just very quickly plug another record from a band, Jake from a band called 22 Long Range, which is
Okay.
stylized as point like a 0.22 LR, which is the best record it's the best screamo record I've heard in years, maybe ever. It's absurd how good that record is. And like it's one of those things where I just very much think like there aren't like I like it's so nice to have good bands in Atlanta for the first time ever, like a bunch of bands that are like actually like oh, this is shit I would go see,
Yeah.
not just stuff I put up with. And yeah, like just like the 22 Long Range is just absurd. It is the best sonic screamo record I again may have ever heard. And to have all these people of like that like I like not only are these friends, are these people that are they're nearby and like within the same like group.
Hmm.
Everybody's really good now. Like all the bands are great. And
Yeah.
to like I'm like hey, I'm just gonna shove these people in and like and waste their talent on the hackiest line on the record. So it's like this is there's something satisfying about that.
I mean, honestly, my other favorite thing about doing a podcast like this is when I have somebody on who suggests bands like that, or like I've not heard of a lot of those bands, but I always go check them out because it's like like,
Malevich just put out an EP that is absurd.
yeah.
On it came out on Roman numeral. Clot put out a record called Grief Tethers the other year that's absurd, and their new material is only getting better. And again, the point like the 0.22 LR record is that just came out. I think is the tape is like it's a Gemma Beach and a few other like it's a collaboration release. But it's just like these are records. I mean, these are bands making music that feel different and feel important, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. No, that goes a long way for me. And like honestly, I found a lot of bands that I really love because of people recommending them on the podcast or just even mentioning
Yeah.
them. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, like I like this person's music, so obviously I want to go check out what the fuck they're listening to.
And this is
So
even
yeah.
just like new like oh these are even like oh these bands I really like. These are bands that are like from Atlanta. I
Mhm.
guess like half of 22 is from Turkey, but that's a long story. But like these are like these are bands that are new, are doing stuff, and doing interesting stuff, and again touring and being and like and getting better, which is the important thing. It's like I've seen so many bands stagnate and kind of be kind of like boring and unchanged, but like the newer material from like the Malevich like EP that just came out is awesome, but the music that they have that is they're recording in August is it's just incredible. And it's just like it's like man, like I'm seeing these people come like finally put all of their effort into it's like they've been working like, trying to find what a sound is and kind of find their place, and everybody's finding it all at once.
Yeah.
And it keeps me honest because like as somebody who's like who like not in a like angry like a douchey which like look, I like if I'm playing I'm the best man in the bill, fuck you, like I that's how it has to be. I
Yeah.
have to and if I don't have that mindset then I'm failing. But and it's not, and like to have to like stay on my toes songwriting wise, performance wise, everything, because like it's like hey your homies are catching up to you, or they're like oh this is better than anything I've done, fuck I have to do better. It's nice. Like I'm very happy to be a part of this, which is weird because yeah, and I'm just lucky enough to have like again like all those people on the record. We recorded it at like Dead Register's like studio, and they're one of the best bands in the South. It's weird like if like the OG stuff was like if like literally if the Neurosis wrote a Cure record and then kind of like has gone down that weird like heavy sad boy kind of stuff, and it just it's they're unbelievable.
I
It's
like
music.
that.
The fact that they're not the biggest fucking band in the world is upsetting to me. Like they're the kind of band that should that like when the good heavy band opens for Tool in particular and
Yeah.
then blows up, that like that's their spot. And they hope they end up finally like getting the accolades they deserve. Because goddamn, dude, so good. Sorry.
I'm gonna check that out too then, because I'm not familiar. But it's cool that all this music's
Yeah.
down here. Like, to be fair, like I literally stopped paying attention to anything metal up until like, I don't know, between like 2021 and 2023. I just kind of was like burnt out on it, so
Oh,
didn't give a fuck. You know?
if somebody recommended me a band, I would just say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like oh no thank you. But
But
hey,
yeah.
yeah, like right now music isn't terrible. Like I'm not unhappy with like a lot of the stuff that's coming out, and even like and again like my I've kind of like again I grew up very much with an elitist mindset in the past like like half decade or so. I've been like kind of really opened up and just in
Yeah.
time for like this really great uh like wave of like unbelievably stupid death metal. It just
Yeah.
like I like they took the dumbest death metal songs and then replaced all the like SA stuff and with drug references. I'm like, oh cool, this is so much less awful to listen to.
Yeah.
I like bands like fucking like Snuffed on Sight, Sentence to Die. Like this is music that like if you were to show me like 5 years ago, I would have just like said absolutely not. But I'm like, yeah, no, this is like I'm okay with this. This is kind of rad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It's
sorry,
good to see that a lot of those bands are like trying to get away from that lyrical content.
yeah, and like and also removing like the what is it like the insular idea, like bands like Body Box touring with like hardcore bands and like
Yes.
like it's probably thanks to like Sanguisugabog and shit like that that kind of like
Mhm.
has melded. It's like hey this is like we're a gross death metal band that plays that makes dumb music, and to clarify dumb I mean in a very positive
Yeah.
manner. There's not nothing denigrating about that,
Right.
and just kind of has like spread to hey it's okay you can listen to like this hardcore band and this like culty death metal band can play together. And it's nice.
Yeah, I like seeing that, man, when like there's multiple genres like on tour packages, because like man, I'm sure you feel the same way. I would get burnt out if it was like four death metal bands, five death metal bands. I'd be done after like the second. It's like give me something. I can't listen to this all night.
If I like again as somebody who plays in a funeral doom band, if I have to play with another doom band, I will eat a bullet. If I have to if there's one thing I hate, it's like it, like it, I'm sorry, stoner riffs are for fucking cops, man. I can't like that. Like I can't do that. I don't want. I don't want to see a bunch of bands playing three notes with their doom bands, but for some reason everything's at least 80 BPM. It's like I don't know what the fuck they're doing. And or like even like again like Turn Cold, we play with Enforced last year. It was a 10 band thrash bill,
Oh wow.
and you couldn't have paid me to sit through any of that at all, let alone like I couldn't imagine like 10 like a buddy of mine is a writer, and he was like went there to write the show, and he looked shell shocked by the time I got there. I'm like, so like how long before you ran out of ways to say so it sounds like Slayer? No,
Yeah.
it's just like I couldn't imagine sitting through the exact same thing that many times for that long.
No.
But yeah, I don't know.
Same.
But yeah, mixed bills all the way.
So last thing I want to touch on here, your love for Magic the Gathering. I
Yes.
mean, you said it's 10% meme, but obviously you have a passion for the game and the cards. So where, kind of like the heavy metal history question, where did that start? What play? What are maybe some of your favorite cards, favorite artists? Because as I know, Magic the Gathering,
Yeah. Well,
we have our favorites of everything.
all right, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you two questions first.
Sure, absolutely.
Your what is your playmat of choice?
Okay, my one ever bought and it's kind of lame. I okay,
Yeah, like
okay.
Rocket Man.
I started playing in 2013 when original Theros came out, and I quit for. I played until like 2015, quit, and then got back into it during the pandemic when I saw the Godzilla cards.
Oh yeah.
I fucking love Godzilla. I was like, my friend had him. I was like, what the fuck are those? Is there a Godzilla card game? He's like, no, man, this is Magic. And I was like, what? This is
Yeah.
Magic? So I bought a King Ghidorah playmat. That is like my favorite
Hey,
playmat.
hell yeah. That's and that speaks to you as a player, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like again, and my main one is an ancient. It was a like legacy championship from like Tokyo. It's
Ooh.
ancient tomb,
Ooh.
and and that like that is everything. Like that is a very good indicator of like what I like to do.
Yeah.
And second question is, do you have
Can I add
base?
one thing?
Oh, sorry. Please.
So I just backed that Richard Kane Ferguson
Oh,
Kickstarter, and
hell yeah.
that Force of Will is about to be my new playmat, and it's gonna be
That's
my favorite fucking playmat.
that's fucking fantastic. I adore RKF so much.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Incredible.
man, I don't like I don't have to. I'm looking forward to again. I don't play like Legacy barely exists right now, and I had to I and like, but I look forward to rebuying like Force of Wills to like it's like oh cool like RKF and RK and it's no more bullshit turf art. Cool,
Yep.
awesome. Uh, and the follow up is do you have basic lands of choice?
Ooh, when I build decks, I do try to theme the lands around whatever the deck is, but I
Oh
do
yeah,
gravitate a lot towards the old border arts anything.
okay,
Even though they were like before my time,
yeah, oh yeah,
whatever reason, I just like those old brown bordered cards, man. I love, especially when they're foiled, the lands. Oh, shit, do I have, hang on. I think I might have one
yeah.
right here. I have like around me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely one in here. I knew this would come in handy. Funny enough. Yeah, one of my favorite planes is this. Come on, I know you're in here. It's a good thing about editing. I can edit this all out and be like, oh, it's
Oh yeah,
this one. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Watch it be near the top. That's usually what happens.
yeah. Like you're talking like you're talking to somebody. The amount of times I've searched. Oh yeah, yeah. The John Avon. Yeah.
I love it so
Oh
much.
hell yeah.
That is one of my favorites for sure.
no, that's fantastic. This like this is my planes of choice. The Heejin Shang, the P3K, the most planes
Ooh,
plane of all time.
yes.
Which I it's and I and I my the first like Highlander, like Canadian Highlander deck I ever like won a tournament with was mono white taxes, and so taxes is still one of my favorite market types to play. But my favorite like again I again to get back to the initial question. Sorry, I just wanted to ask those just out of
No,
curiosity,
no,
kind of
I
like
that's great, dude. I love
gauge
it.
them. I played when I was like really young. Like I got a fucking like I was like too young to really get I was like 6 or 7 because I got like a fourth edition like little box that had some counters and stuff and like 60 cards like the and then like kind of like played for a bit, kind of like learned the basics of it, and like through like the end of Tempest block and then the beginning of Urza or like Urza's block,
Oh
and
wow.
then kind of like faded off for a long time.
Yeah. There's this block I
That
hear was and
Oh, it was
broken.
great. It's like my again like Player Academy is the greatest thing in the entire like that is my drug of choice.
Yeah.
And I didn't like again, but yeah, like I played a little bit longer because I remember playing some like Legacy when during Odyssey, but then I kind of like didn't. I was like, okay, I don't like I'm not playing Magic anymore. Like I'm like I need to grow up or whatever, and playing and like listen to music and play in bands because that's definitely more of an adult thing to do. There's like right now I don't know what's more humiliating to play Magic like as religiously as I do or play in bands as I do. So it's like I really need to like I think I hide both like a convicted felon. The but like I kind of like zoned out for a while, and then I was on tour with an old band of mine, and we were playing in Portland, and there was this small game store underneath. Like, oh, let me look in, and then like I saw Planeswalkers or something. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Oh shit.
Oh, whatever. But and then they kind of like that's interesting. They kind of like got the bug in me, and we got back to we were based out of Boulder, Colorado at the time,
Okay.
and a friend of ours was like played Magic, and it was like okay, well, I guess we'll look into stuff, and then this was like right as Scars of Mirrodin came out, and I played
Okay.
Scars. I played that pre-release. And I'm like, oh, this I'm hooked back in. Played for a bit, and then left a little bit after Innistrad because I had a bunch like OG like EDH like pre-commander stuff, and then
Yeah.
like I lent a bunch of my cards to somebody and they never returned them. So I'm like, well, fuck it, whatever. I'm not I can't buy back into stuff. And then years and years pass, and my buddy started playing Witcher 3 and
Mhm.
like started talking about Gwent. And he's like, oh, right, like you used to play Magic, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. And then I like dusted off the old book, like just and it's like the beauty of like seeing like it's like Jace, like Mind Sculptor, Force of Will, like that, and like Vendilion Click when it was still playable. I'm like, yeah, this is this, and like we kind of like started showing them stuff, and then like that I was exposed to Canadian Highlander about that same time, and this was like right before Ixalan came out,
Okay. Yeah.
and I've been diehard back since. Like, like that's been like it's been my the way I've wasted so much time and money over the years.
Yeah.
And it's been great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Even just getting back into it, I feel that same sentiment. Oh, it feels weird explaining play this card game, and it costs a lot of money for the cardboard sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. But
no, how do you think? How do you think I fucking funded this record, man? Like the record and all like all the stuff, especially like in the midst of this of the strike that we had to deal with.
yeah.
Just good, good, but like I'm Sans, a bunch of OG duels, and like no more guys Cradle, but I do have a record coming out, which is cool instead.
I mean, I I can appreciate that, man. You're taking one thing you love and putting it towards another. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I have thought about that same thing. Like I have a Mox Diamond and I've been like, man, do I sell it to get like another guitar? Like what do I want to do here? And I'm like, I'm still like, no, I'm
liter-
not gonna sell it.
literally just sold a Mox Diamond to do
Fuck.
repairs on the van. Like, but it's and it's only and but the bigger like the again I'm still I'm getting back into like ED like Commander and stuff, and I'm trying to.
Yeah,
It's difficult to get into for me because it's such a weird. I don't know how to build bad decks,
I totally
and I mean,
understand.
and I'm trying really really hard to kind of like get in like in between. But I mean, like literally, this is very very dumb. And again, again, I like if anybody made it past the yammering fucking political bullshit, they certainly have clicked off by now. But the but like I built a Corvold eggs list
Hell yeah.
that that I refer to as like death to false grind Corvold, and 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 because like and like once I realized that that the errata for Mox Diamond means it never hits play, it doesn't get sacrificed. It's like, oh, this is this is this doesn't work the way I need it to. Fuck it, whatever. I'm fixing my I'm fixing my van.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, I don't like, yeah, it is like again, shit's expensive, and but it's, I mean, it's like music here. You buy it, you like, and if you when you're done with it, you fucking sell it, and you ideally like make profit on it.
That's true. Yeah, and for those of you out there that like aren't familiar with Magic the Gathering, I just want you to think about that for a second. Like he had one card that was enough to fix. So think about that for a minute. That's
Yeah,
some of
and
those cards are worth that much, if not more. I mean, I'm sure a
yeah,
lot of
I
you have heard about the Post Malone paying like $3 million for a card. So there's that too.
hey, it was only two. It was only 2 million,
Oh, two. Okay, okay.
and goddamn, I mean, like the One Ring's absurd. Like it really is.
It is. Yeah.
Like
No, good on
too
him though,
much,
man.
but yeah. Hey, again, good like that dude. Again, I have never met him, had any interaction with him, but I have a lot of like friends and acquaintances who have in both
Yeah.
music and like nerd stuff, and it's like, oh, he's not a piece of shit. That's very good to like make your money and go, well, what did I want to waste money on when I didn't have any? It's like all this dumb shit. Cool, awesome.
Yep. Yep.
And and just a bit but just to kind of like, it is important to note that Canadian Highlander in particular
Mhm.
is the best format possible to play. And if anybody who has even a cursory like interest in Magic the Gathering, it is just there's nothing better,
Yeah, I
and it is
watch
important to like, God.
yeah, I watch a lot of LRRs like Canadian Highlander games. I can't afford to play it because I don't have like everything to build a deck. I mean, I probably could cobble like a half-ass one together, but I don't have any games or, you know, OG duels or anything like that. So,
You proxy, homie, proxy. It's like
can't,
I know I again
can't.
I feel you so hard. Believe
Yeah.
me, I can't. It's why like the decks I build are very. It's like, okay, what do I have? And it's like you're getting
Yeah.
like bullying, like, I mean, mono white taxes. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, I assume you play Commander, so like you probably like, do you have like a Mana Crypt or like a Mana Vault and such, like those
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
pretty much have
that's
like
all.
staples minus like
Yeah,
a few. I even have a guy's cradle too, so
yeah, that's all you fucking need.
Mhm.
Like, you don't like, it doesn't, you don't need to, you can build like a monocolor deck that will take down like I've seen, like I've seen everything,
Yep.
and I've like I again I've beaten like again like Beta Lotus in Hand Storm with a budget like Mardu like list.
Oof.
Like, and you don't need, like, you can build what you want and play what you want, and it can be competitive. You don't need all the accoutrement. It is
Eh,
important, which is important to know.
That's kind of how I feel about Commander a lot too. I don't I play like whatever I have. Like I'll even build
Yeah,
standard decks just to kind of play them popper or whatever.
yeah,
I just love playing Magic. Um, but yeah, I've like talked to my buddy a couple times, being like, hey, we should like try to build a gladiator deck because sometimes we can only play one on one. but we like
Yeah,
the singleton aspect of the game, not like, you know, here's 60 cards of like, oh, we know you're gonna play a Shieldred and into
yeah.
this. Like that's fucking boring to me, personally. But yeah, some of those decks are just like insane, and I'm like, I don't know if I'd ever be able to play or build that. But
But
yeah, I don't know.
it's
Proxying,
I feel you, but like, well, that's part of what I like is like, well, what do I have? And it just there's something about the aesthetic of everything. It's just like, oh, this is
yeah,
what I genuinely appreciate.
yeah,
But yeah, like, that's why. But it's again, you can play what you want and how you want. You don't. It doesn't need to be ideal sometimes, and
that's
it'll
true.
still be fine.
Yeah,
And it's one of the things I like about the game, like the idea of it being like pay to play is just like it's something that it feels like it's the same when you first sit down you think you can't beat a counter spell. It's like
yeah,
how do you even play the game? And it just like it's a very open, interesting like game space. But yeah, it just one to make like just to the point just to kind of sum it all up. My I got back into playing Commander because to the folks from the aforementioned Malevich were like, hey, we're gonna do this budget Commander night,
oh, sick.
and I'm like, okay, fine, I guess I'll do this, and then yeah, and it's kind of grown, and there's a bunch of people in music, in like art, like in art and film and music in Atlanta, like a Thursday, and just like in like at a bar and just jam games, and it's really cool. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's as they like it, it's very much in line with music, where it's just a bunch of like weirdos doing stuff together, and are most of the people insufferable? Yeah, but your homies are still there.
I mean, hey, that's that's why like when I finally like dug into the band a little bit more, I was like, oh man, this is the reason. Like, there's that overlapping of nerdiness and like counterculture stuff with heavy metal, and like those, I feel like those things go together
Yeah.
pretty darn well.
And I hope the record doesn't suck, because we like
It
I
doesn't
kind of made
suck.
them I kind of made the mistake of it being like it's way like I'm like, oh, I'm making like this is definitely gonna sound like a hardcore record. It's like, oh no, dog, this just like because it's like it sounds to me like the way when people used to describe Nails to me. It's like this like I was like this is kind of what that's what it ends up sounding like to me. But just like because it's too it's too like grind for metal, too metal for hardcore, and too like hardcore for grind. So it just it sits in this place where there's it. I like it. I don't think that many people are going to like it, but I'm very proud of it. So fuck it, man.
So, I mean, that's a good kind of wrapping up point.
Yeah,
Dude, we've been going for 2 hours. This has been awesome.
I'm
But for
sorry, but
like, no, I don't care at all. I will go for 4 hours. But as far as like people wanting to like find the band, it comes out later this month on like the 26th,
yeah,
23rd.
yeah. It's going to be live on the 21st.
Okay.
It's going there's going to be it's going to be streaming for like a preview somewhere like that Monday too.
Okay.
And the album again, we're doing a release show on the 23rd with again the aforementioned Malevich, Clot, and Lagrimas, which is this LA kind of like melodic crust kind of screamo band who are kind of great.
Awesome.
It's an like the show is a bang. It is if I was if I wasn't on it, it would be like the best series of bands I've seen on a bill, like full stop.
Yeah.
And I'm very 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 stoked about it. So
Well,
yeah, again, the record like is finally coming out. I'm looking forward to never hearing it again.
yeah, I can
That
imagine, man. Yeah, that's got to be the downside. It's like how many times you do it over and over and over and over again when you're mixing and mastering and playing and recording and playing, having to play it live. Just never.
and hopefully we will be I mean, I've said this too many times, but like I've had three different tours fall through,
Mm.
like just fall apart after like it being booked. So hopefully it will be heading up the East Coast at the end
Cool.
of October. But the last several times I've said that, it is not happened, even after all the effort. But on the bright side, I'm still alive, so that's cool.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if you're up this way or like I get down to Atlanta fairly often. You know,
Yeah,
if there's a show going on, I will definitely be there.
yeah. Like, you yeah. I mean, yeah, and like yeah, oh my god, sorry, my brain tried not to yawn. I tried to talk through it.
No,
That was
you're
a
good,
fucking
man.
bad idea.
Again, editing.
Oh, oh fuck.
Yep.
But yeah, yeah, no, if you're ever coming down these parts, let me know. And
Yeah,
I think Turn Cold's definitely coming back up to Chattanooga sooner than later because
cool.
that's what we're doing. The Invictus folks have been very very nice.
Yeah, man,
So
they've been
yeah,
killing it up here.
yeah, they've been
So,
doing a damn good job. They're actually
listeners,
playing an Invictus show later this like down here with I think you just talked to him with with Apostle and a band called Sunmancer.
yeah, yeah, I know the Sunmancer dudes. Yeah, yeah. They're like more
Yeah,
metalcore, like old early metalcore.
yeah. The drummer
They're
for
nice
Turn
dudes.
Cold and them have been like our old homies. So it'll like that'll be an interesting evidence. But yeah, like but Invictus
Yeah,
are putting that on down here too. So, but oh yeah, no, just yeah.
nice.
Thanks for talking to me about the record.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
hope
Ladies and gentlemen listening, Hubris Cannon, Revise. Go listen to it. Go buy it. Go to a show if you're in Atlanta. Twitch, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man. I really appreciate it. Um, honestly, this has been great. I know we went 2 hours talking about all kinds of stuff, but I love when I can have conversations like this that are a little more less than surface level of like, you know, band stuff. So I appreciate that, man.
No, I'm glad that it wasn't terrible. Oh, and I will add one last thing because this is
Yeah,
like the
go for it.
Watchmaker is the best band ever,
Yeah,
and nobody gives a shit. Like what like they're a grindy hardcore band from Boston. They put out three records, two on Willow Tip, one by themselves, and their second one just got reissued recently.
ooh,
They're the best extreme band I've ever heard, and they are integral into like me making music. So just as a like for the heavy metal history thing to kind of like tie it up from the
yeah.
beginning, Watchmaker fucking rules, and more people need to listen to it.